Hello everyone, I, Aditi Ghosh, welcome you all to today's conceptual video on close reading and comprehension, which is included in Unit 3 of AEC paper, that is Reading and Understand. So here we begin. So what is close reading? The term itself gives us a hint. When we read something quite closely, খুবেই ওচৰৰ পৰা গুৰুত্ব দি পঢ়া হয়, তেতিয়া আমাৰ সেই প্ৰচেছটো close reading বুলি কোৱা। Now, I have already uploaded 2 videos on the other 2 subtopics of Unit 3, that is Analysis and Interpretation, as well as Summary and Paraphrase. এতিয়া কথাটো হ'ল, গোটেইখিনি subtopics যোনখিনি মই already upload কৰিলো, তাৰে ভিতৰত যোনটো প্ৰথম পদ্ধতি আমি ল'ব লাগিব যিকোনো প্ৰচেছত আগবঢ়াৰ আগত, সেইটো হ'ল close reading. সেইকাৰণে ক্লোজ ৰিডিং অতি গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ কনসেপ্ট আমাৰ জানিবলগীয়া, কিয়নো ক্লোজ ৰিডিঙৰ দ্বাৰা আমি সামাৰীয়ে হওক, প্যাৰাফ্ৰেজে হওক বা এনালাইসিসে হওক আৰু ইন্টাৰপ্ৰিটেশনে হওক, এই গোটেইখিনি পদ্ধতিয়ে আমি ক্লোজ ৰিডিঙৰ দ্বাৰাহে আমি আগবাঢ়িব লাগিব। কোন প্ৰথমতে ক্লোজ ৰিডিং আমাৰ ফাৰ্স্ট স্টেপ হিচাপে আমি এডাপ্ট কৰিব লাগিব, then only we can proceed further. So, in very simple words, we can say that close reading is the first step towards any advanced level of reading. See, though I have already uploaded in other videos, once again I'm repeating that there are 2 layers of reading. One is surface layer of reading, another is close reading. When we read on a surface layer, we only read in the sense of knowing. Just, okay, what is this, what is that, and so on. But when we read on a deep level, we need to go beyond what is and where is. That means we need to question with why, when, how, isn't it? So, surface layer of reading on amar খুব ওপৰৰ পৰা ওপৰেদি আমি পঢ়ি বা আমাৰ জানিবলগীয়া কথাখিনি খুব ওপৰৰ লেভেলৰ পৰা আমাৰ হৈ যায়, কিন্তু ক্লোজ ৰিডিঙত আমি অতি গুৰুত্ব বা আমাৰ অতি মানে মন দি কনসেন্ট্ৰেশন দি আমি পঢ়িব লাগিব। Not only reading, but I mean নিজে পঢ়ি পেলাই আমি নিজে আনসাৰ উলিয়াব লাগিব। Suppose এই গোটেই পয়েমটোত ৰাইটাৰে এনেকে কিয় কৈছে, কাক কৈছে, কোনখিনি সময়ত কৈছে, এনেকে যদি কৈছে কিয় কৈছে এনেকে, সেই গোটেই উত্তৰখিনি আমি নিজে বিচাৰি উলিয়াব লাগিব। হেতু সেই উত্তৰখিনি বিচাৰাটো তেতিয়াই সম্ভৱ যেতিয়া আমি ক্লোজ ৰিডিং কৰো। And close reading is essentially important for stepping further, maybe for interpretation, analysis, summary or paraphrase. So basically we need to, mark that a close reading is a very purposeful process of, reading a text. We all are in a, system of education where no one will ask us some lame questions in graduate level. For example, who is the hero of this novel? No examiner will ask this sort of question. They will ask why this person is considered as the hero of the novel, isn't it? I'm just giving you some examples that in a novel, for example, there is a hero and a heroine. So in exam, will you be asked that who is the hero or who is the heroine of the novel? No. You will rather be asked why he or she is considered as the central character of the novel, right? So তেনেকুৱা টাইপৰ কুৱেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে আমি প্ৰিপেয়াৰ মেণ্টেলি বা আমাৰ গ্ৰেজুৱেট লেভেলত আমি তেনেকুৱা কুৱেশ্যনৰ এক্সপেক্টেশ্যন আৰু এডভান্স লেভেলত কৰিব পাৰো। তাৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ ক্লোজ ৰিডিং খুবেই দৰকাৰ, খুবেই প্ৰয়োজনীয় এটা পদ্ধতি। That's why close reading can be possible only when we read and reread a text until we get our own, satisfaction of our curiosities. So basically, through close reading, we can focus on the author's purpose, on the meaning of the words, or on the structure of the entire text. So basically, we need to go beyond our limitation and we need to, brainstorm our critical thinking while going for a close reading. And every effective readers, they engage themselves in close reading. So, we sometimes tend to detect that he or she or that particular student has read the text very thoroughly. এজন টিচাৰ এজন শিক্ষকে কেনেকে সেই গুণটো ধৰিব পাৰে কোনোবা এজন ষ্টুডেণ্টৰ যে খুবেই ধুনীয়াকে খুবেই গুৰুত্ব দি পেলাই খুবেই ডিপাৰ লেভেলত গৈ পঢ়িছে চাগে কেনেকে আমি ধৰিব পাৰো কিয়নো আমাৰ আনচাৰ্ছবোৰত সেই ডিপাৰ লেভেল অফ ৰিডিংটো উলিয়াই আহে ষ্টুডেণ্টৰ when we check the answers we often get to see how deeply a student has read a text. If you haven't read the text deeply, you will not be able to answer directly to the question, but with a deeper context. Basically, you can answer the question, but not from a very critical aspect. And in graduate, after HS examination in graduate, I mean from graduate up till your higher education, you'll have to answer critically, not just writing summary or not just writing the plot of a story will be enough for a student. And that's why close reading is equally relevant for both an educator and a student, because while entering a classroom a teacher or an educator will also have to self prepare. তেওঁলোকে আগতীয়াকে সেইখিনিৰ ভিতৰীয়া গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ কথাবোৰ আগতীয়াকে জানি আহিব লাগিব, mentally prepared থাকিব লাগিব that that educator might be questioned in the classroom, so which is possible only through close reading. Similarly, it goes the same for a student. The student also needs to go very deep layer of reading to answer the critical questions. So that's why as a whole we can sum up that close reading is defined as the reading and rereading of a text, but with a purpose, and that purpose is that we need to focus very deeply into the subject matter. कुछ भी सब्जेक्ट मैटर हो उसको हमें बहुत ही डीप लेवल पे फोकस रख के हमें पढ़ना होगा, ताकि हम कोई भी क्रिटिकल क्वेश्चन या फिर कोई भी क्रिटिकल इंसाइट्स के लिए हम अपने ब्रेन, अपने इंटरप्रिटेशन, अपने एनालिसिस को रेडी रखें. And this is entirely possible only when we do read a text in a very deeper context. Okay? So this is what is the basic idea of close reading. So now let's see what are the benefits of a close reading. Benefits as in how it will help us to grow as a reader, as a writer, or as a student, or as an educator. See, close reading helps us understanding a text in a very deeper context. So obviously when you read any particular poem, novel, book, or anything in a very closer context, in a very deeper context, you are the master of that book. You know every single two larger details of that particular book. It then helps us to interconnect those ideas which is hidden inside the text. Remember, while we discussed about interpretation and analysis, we already mentioned this poem that in an analysis we need to first read and reread the text, collect all the hidden ideas, and then interconnect those ideas. So this is possible only when we can read or we read a text quite deeply. It then helps us to understand the meaning which is interconnected with the particular system of that particular text. कोई भी text or novel, poem and so on, उसके अंदर किस चीज को कैसे किस तरीके से एक्सप्रेस किया, अगर ये हमने जान लिया, डिकोड कर लिया, then we are at the advantage position to know it on a very greater extent. Okay. So what else? Close reading also helps us to go beyond the surface layer of reading, obviously, because it is the basic process through which we can understand a text in a very deeper level. Next, it also helps us, close reading helps us to pay greater attention to understand the grammar, to understand the structure, to understand the tone of a particular text. For example, my mother at 66. ये पोएम सभी ने पढ़ा होगा HS days में. इस पोएम के अंदर एक पर्सनल टोन थे, एक इमोशनल टोन थे, या फिर इस पोएम में एक नॉस्टैल्जिक फीलिंग थी. ये कैसे हमें पता चला? Only when we have tried to understand through reading and rereading of the poem and trying to know the author's intention or the purpose or the different variants of expressions through the poem. So this is what are the I will say this is the process through which we can gain benefits of close reading. So now let's look what are the different steps we need to follow when we go for a close reading. Step 1 is cursory reading. Cursory reading as in we need to underline the main ideas from a text and then we can highlight those ideas and then we need to think of those ideas to interpret our understanding. So step 1 is the basic step through which we can go further or to process further for a close reading. So once again repeating, in step 1 we need to underline, that is cursory reading. Then we need to highlight those ideas, important points, and then we need to think of that important points in context to the subject. In step 2 we need to read and reread the text, that is the closer reading. Second time পঢ়িম ন যে অলপ ক্লোজলি আমাৰ যাবই পঢ়াটো, পঢ়ি থকা সময়ত বহুতখিনি বাক্য বহুত শব্দ আমি বুজি নাপাওঁ, কেতিয়াবা সেইখিনি শব্দ বাক্য আমি স্কিপ কৰি দিব নালাগে, সেইখিনি শব্দ বাক্য আমি আন্ডাৰলাইন কৰি থব লাগে যাতে পাছলৈ আমি সেইখিনি আকৌ এবাৰ ৰিভিজিট কৰি পেলাই ভাবিবলৈ বাধ্য কৰো নিজকে যে এই বাক্যটো এই শব্দটো আমি কিয় বুজি পোৱা নাই, ডিকচনাৰী ইউজ কৰো বা আমি কাবাক সুধো এণ্ড সো অন। সেইবিলাক আমাৰ ইন্টাৰনেল প্ৰসেস কেনেকে আমি আমাৰ সেই পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ ডিফিকাল্ট ৱৰ্ডছে হওক সেন্টেন্সে হওক আমি সেইটো ক্লিয়াৰ কৰো, কিন্তু আমি to skip কৰিব নোৱাৰো। We need to mark them because it helps us in our growth. And at last, in step 2, we need to analyze those significant portions. যোনটো মই এইমাত্ৰ কৈ গলো যে মাৰ্ক কৰি থোৱা portion খিনি আমি skip কৰি দিব নালাগে, আমি সেইটো লাষ্টত ঘূৰি আহি আকৌ যাতে আমি সেইটো ক্লিয়াৰ কৰি থওঁ। It is a very tendency of us, we always underline some difficult words or sentences and then we forget about it. Let me first complete my syllabus and then I will think about it. No, don't do that. Immediately after marking that, clear it out, or within short period of time. Do not increase the bulk of your pending words or sentences till the last moment. And in step 3, finally we'll have to look at the questions. Questions as in there might be several questions which are arising in our mind. There might be several questions which is written inside the text. We need to understand, we need to solve, we need to bring out those answers so that we can get a clarity of our understanding. And then we need to read it. I think everyone knows that it sometimes becomes difficult to solve a question immediately, isn't it? Irrespective of any subject, I am not talking only about arts and humanities or any particular subject here. Koi bhi subject ho, koi bhi question ho, it sometimes becomes impossible or difficult. I will not say impossible, it is difficult sometimes to solve that particular question instantly or immediately. At that time, we need to, we should not give up. We should reread the text and find out the answers, because answers are already inside the text. No answers are outside the text. So it's entirely up to our process of critical reading. जितने deeply हम लोग पढ़ेंगे उतने deeply शायद हम लोग answers भी grab कर पाएंगे. And at the last step in a close reading, we need to frame the answers accordingly. That is, जैसे question demand करेंगे वैसे हम बस answer put करते जाए, right? So then let's see what is comprehension. Now see, this is a term which every HS students have already experienced, maybe in your exam or maybe in your classes. So comprehensions, I hope you all remember that in exam you are given a passage or a paragraph, and below that passage or paragraph some questions were input. We just need to solve that questions by reading that paragraph which is mentioned above, right? So this is a comprehension test which is a part of every HS students as well as school students also, because it is a practice which develops our reading skill, our understanding skill, and also our process of close reading. So comprehension, you can try to know that comprehension means the test, I mean the process through which it is tested how much we have understood a particular text or a passage. So comprehension के द्वारा हमें ये पता चल जाएगा कि हमें कोई भी टेक्स्ट हो या पैसेज हो या पैराग्राफ हो कितने दूर तक हमें समझ में आए. And this is how it helps us to, assess a reader. Suppose you are given a set of questions and a paragraph and you are asked to solve that questions to find out the answers from the given passage. So through this activity, what we get to find out is that how much or in what extent you have understood that particular paragraph. So that is a process of evaluating a reader. And readers are required to give answers which is hidden inside that passage, and they need to show their effective skill in case of writing, how professionally, how intellectually you have brought out all the ideas or all the words from the passage and you have written that answer. So as a whole, it is a complete package from a reader to a writer. So comprehension एक ऐसा टेस्ट है जो हमें हेल्प करते हैं एक रीडिंग स्किल से डेवलप होने से एक राइटिंग स्किल से डेवलप होने तक. Okay, so this is a journey. Comprehension is a journey from reading skill to writing skill. Pardon me if I have, mispronounced any Hindi words because I'm trying to, bring out some convenient regional words in between, because if I completely deliver my entire video lecture in English, some particular learners might find it quite difficult at this time, because it's ultimately a communication paper. So why don't we take it as an advantage to understand both as a listener and as a speaker? So here we proceed. Okay, so now let's check what are the different steps for an effective comprehension. The first is obviously we need to read the text several times. And then if, we are not aware of a certain word or a meaning, कोई भी word passage जो हमें समझ में ना आया हो, वो हम decode करने की कोशिश करें उस context के द्वारा. हमें उस particular word या sentence को skip नहीं करना चाहिए, which was already a part of close reading also. Basically a repetition of the similar point. We need to try to understand, try to find out the words or meanings which are quite difficult in our understanding. Then we need to take up some questions from the passage and we need to read the passage for finding out the answers of that particular questions. And always remember, in case of comprehensive test, answers should not be quite lengthy. It should be brief, concise, and to the point. And there should be no vagueness or there should be no unnecessary illustration in the answer. Unnecessary or vagueness. Okay, what is vagueness? Let me make it clear. Vague is a word which represents, some uncleared or some sort of, indefinite meaning. So basically, we need not write answers for a comprehension, in a very vague way. That means uncertain way. It should be concise, brief, and to the point. And all the answers should be written in indirect speech. I hope everyone remembers narration, direct and indirect speech, where in direct speech we use inverted commas, and in indirect speech we exclude that and rephrase that particular words by changing the persons and tenses and everything. So they should be maintained, and lines from the given text or passage should not be reproduced. That means you should not recreate your own answer which is not included in the passage. So basically your answers should be from the passage, not your own creation. Then each answer should be in a separate paragraph, separately numbered, and the language used in answering the questions should be quite simpler. In other words, एकदम simple तरीके से हमें आंसर लिखना है. वहाँ पे इतना critical insights की जरूरत नहीं है या फिर एनालिसिस की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि पैसेज में ऑलरेडी आंसर है. हमें बस ढूंढ के वो आंसर अटेम्प्ट करने हैं, जैसे हम लोग ने एचएस या फिर HSLC डेज में किए थे. And answers should be obviously in the tense in which it is asked. अगर past tense में पूछे तो past tense, so we should maintain the tense, okay? And the tense is within the questions which is asked through the passage. So that's it. And the last of today's lecture is the process of close reading. Just a repetition of close reading. Let's just look into it. First, we need to question. Second, we need to understand. Third, we need to apply our understanding. Fourth, we need to analyze whatever we have applied. Fifth, we need to evaluate whatever we have, understood, applied, and analyzed. Sixth, we need to visualize. That means what might be the concluding part of my answer or my close reading. That will be visualizing. And at last, synthesizing. That means synchronizing in order. I mean, all the ideas which we have questioned, understood, applied, analyzed, evaluated, visualized, we need to bring in order. So this is the complete process of a close reading, and I hope that I have justified my today's lecture by trying my best to make you understand in a very simple manner. Still, if there is any sort of difficulty, you can use the comment box and you can drop your questions. So that's all, and thank you.